There's a moment quiet and almost invisible when you realize that life after 65 doesn't feel the way you thought it would. Maybe it's the way mornings feel slower, or the way your body moves with a kind of resistance you didn't notice before. Maybe it's the silence that fills a room once buzzing with children, or the gentle ache of memories that seem just out of reach. Aging is not simply about growing older. It's about shifting into a new version of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually. And for many of us, that shift can feel both confusing and isolating. But let me tell you something. From one soul to another, life does not end here. In fact, for many, it truly begins. I'd like to share with you a daily routine that quietly transformed my life after 65. Not in a grand, cinematic way, but in small, steady moments that helped me feel alive, worthy, and deeply human again. When I first turned 66, I felt invisible. My body had changed softer, slower, unfamiliar. My sleep patterns were off, my appetite had shifted, and intimacy, both physical and emotional, felt distant, like something that belonged to another life. Menopause had taken its toll, not just in hot flashes or night sweats, but in how I saw myself as a woman. And I know for many men, the quiet frustration of erectile dysfunction or fading libido can create a deep sense of loss of identity, of confidence, of intimacy. There was a time I avoided mirrors, not out of shame exactly, but out of detachment, as though the person looking back wasn't really me, just an older version wearing the memories of someone younger. I didn't know how to speak about it, to friends, to family, even to the man I had shared a bed with for over 40 years. We had grown comfortable, even fond, but emotionally, something had drifted, and we both felt it. That invisible distance that creeps in quietly, like fog. You don't notice it until you're lost in it. But then came one morning. I remember it clearly. I was sitting by the window with a cup of tea, watching the light move across the kitchen floor. And I whispered to myself, not aloud, but somewhere deep, I don't want to fade. That became the first step of my routine. It wasn't about creams or vitamins, though those came later. It was about choosing not to disappear. So each morning, before anything else, I did something loving for myself. One day, it was writing a few lines in a journal. Another, it was stretching slowly to music I loved as a girl. Eventually, it became walks, short ones at first, where I'd pay attention to the way the wind touched my face, or the way birds still sang, even when no one listened. Slowly, I started speaking more honestly with my husband. At first, we stumbled through words we hadn't said in years, but over time, we found something unexpected. Not just old love, but new tenderness. Different, yes. Quieter, but somehow deeper. He admitted he'd been struggling too, that he felt ashamed of not being himself anymore. That he'd been afraid I wouldn't understand. But I did. I really did. We began holding hands again, not out of habit, but as a kind of silent promise. We are still here together. And for those watching who may not have a partner beside them, please know that this tenderness, this connection, it starts with you. With how gently you greet yourself in the morning. With how kindly you treat your body, your emotions, your memories. Let me share a story that stayed with me. A woman named Margaret, 72, wrote to me a year ago. She had been widowed for over a decade, convinced her days of feeling desired or emotionally connected were behind her. She said, I had become a shadow of myself, quietly waiting for life to be over. But one day, Margaret signed up for a local community painting class, not because she considered herself an artist, but because something in her was tired of being numb. There, she met George, a retired train conductor who painted abstract landscapes with trembling hands. They talked. Then they laughed. Then slowly they began meeting for coffee. She said what surprised her most wasn't falling in love again. It was how alive she felt simply being seen. She said, "I thought intimacy meant youth, but it really means presence." Isn't that beautiful? Dear listener, whether you are 50, 65, or 75, your story isn't finished. You are not invisible. And your capacity to love, to be loved, to feel joy it hasn't expired. Yes, the body changes. Yes, energy may wane. But there is beauty in slowness. There is strength in vulnerability. And there is intimacy in honesty, not just with others, but with yourself. If you are in a relationship and find that things feel distant emotionally, physically, even spiritually, it's okay. Truly. That does not mean it's broken. It means there is room to rebuild. Start with little things. Sit close while watching a movie. Write each other letters, even silly ones. Touch hands. Speak gently. Listen fully. Sometimes healing begins not with a grand gesture, but a single moment of connection. And if shame or fear is holding you back from opening up, please hear this. There is no shame in aging, no shame in changing bodies, no shame in seeking help, whether from a doctor, a counselor, or a trusted friend. It is not weakness to ask for support. It is wisdom. Our culture doesn't often celebrate aging. It rushes to creams and surgery and promises of youth. But aging is not a failure. It is a victory. Every wrinkle is proof that you've lived, that you've felt, that you've survived. So dress in colors that make your soul feel bright. Move your body with love, not punishment. Say the words you've been holding back. Try something new, even if it scares you. Let this stage of life be one of exploration, not retreat. You are not too old. You are just in time for something beautiful. And maybe, just maybe, today is the day you choose to begin. Thank you for spending these moments with me. If this message touched something inside you, I invite you to like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to The Age of Beauty, where growing older is not something to fear, but something to honor. Because you, my friend, are still becoming. And the best parts of you are not behind you. They are unfolding still. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You are not alone, and you are deeply, deeply loved.